Hey everybody, it's Dottie, the brightest star. Welcome to another edition of Metaphysics and Makeup, where we get weird. Basically, everything that Bailey Sarian doesn't talk about, we talk about over here. So today we're going to get into the psychic abilities, and basically over the next few, well, it's going to be at least 15 editions of this, as we get into gifts and basically how to use them. Right now we're just going to cover the basics and basically explain intuition and all the things. So before we get into it, make sure you do all the things, like, share, subscribe, all the things. Alrighty guys, so let's get into it. So it's important to note as we get into this that really everybody has a psychic ability. And it's about really knowing how to tap into it. Too many times within our society, we're basically disconnected from our abilities. And part of the reason is because we have a lot of chaos in our lives. In life, we allow life itself to create blockages for us. Because when we are in the action, the do, the we got to do this, we got to do that, that is masculine energy. And when it comes down to it, our abilities come from feminine energy. And really, when it comes down to it, you can't tap in to your abilities if you don't start operating in feminine energy, because feminine energy needs to be able to flow. It goes up, down, has its own waves and frequency. Another thing that's important to know about your intuition is that really when it comes down to it, it's connected to our five senses. So smelling, hearing, tasting, touch, all of the things. And everybody's intuition is going to break down a little differently. For some people, it may be that their abilities are connected to being able to hear things, being able to smell things. It's just whatever sense is stronger for you is going to be where your abilities are able to thrive better. So just know that everybody is going to receive and break down this information in a different way. So don't think just because somebody is able to see something and you're not, that there's something wrong with your abilities, or the fact that somebody's able to hear something and you don't. Just understand that everybody is going to pick up on things a little differently, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with this. So throughout history, we have a lot of different accounts and variations of psychics. We have shamans, we have medicine men, we have prophets, people who go into the church and speak about things. We also have priests. We have people who have been noted for their abilities, such as Nostradamus and Edgar Cayce. Nostradamus was really known for a lot of his predictions. And Edgar Cayce, I plan on getting more into Edgar Cayce a little bit later. I have a book that is on my list to read, but I'm in the process of breaking down this book and reading some other books, because I don't just read things about psychic abilities and stuff like that. One of the personal books that I'm reading, How to Kill a Mockingbird. So something different, just to kind of, because I'm human and I want to read. Let's talk about the levels of consciousness. There are 3 different levels when it comes to consciousness. First, there is basically our conscious mind, or our analytical mind. This is how we come to reasoning things. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you lay too much in this energy, you may find it hard to really tap into your abilities. And the reason is that intuition really has absolutely nothing to do with reason. There's nothing that has to do with reason when it comes to your abilities. A lot of the times your intuition may not even make sense. So if you live too much in this masculine form, you'll have a hard time really being able to decipher and break down what your intuition is telling you, or honestly, even connecting to your intuition. So just be mindful of that as you move forward. It's not about reasoning with yourself. Like, not everything needs to have a rhyme or reason when it comes to spirituality. Secondly, we have the unconscious mind, or the subconscious. This is how basically we break down and relay information that we get from the world. And a lot of the times, this is like that little voice in the back of your head that says, you know, maybe this isn't a good idea, or maybe we're able to do something random that doesn't really make sense. Something that the other parts of your mind are going to be like, oh, what are you doing? This is stupid. But in all actuality, it's not stupid. It's something that needs to be done, but you're just unable to tap into it. And then lastly, we have the universal mind, or as some would call either the collective consciousness or the Akashic records. And this is basically the information that everyone is able to kind of tap into. And you will hear like a lot of psychics and stuff talk about this form of consciousness. Sometimes what I've noticed when it comes down to this level of consciousness is that people make it seem like only certain people can tap in. There are certain people who are able to tap into it a lot easier than others. It's not something that's just for one person. Everybody literally has the ability to tap into this. So when it comes to your intuition, there are 3 different types of intuition and being able to access this type of information. So there's 3 different ways that you can kind of tap into your intuition. And each one of them uses a different portion of basically your brain and being able to tap in. First, you have deductive, which comes from the subconscious mind. And you're basically able to like break down information with this one. Second one is random, which comes from your subconscious mind. And then the third one uses all 3 parts of your mind to be able to come to a conclusion. So when it comes to deductive, this is where your 5 senses really start to come into play. It might be a picture that comes to mind. It might be a smell, a change in temperature, or like even a chill. And this is basically being able to tap into like ESP. The second one is random. So when it comes to random information, it's exactly what it sounds like. It will come to you randomly. There's no rhyme or reason. You can literally just be sitting there reading a book, and then all of a sudden it's like you have a message for somebody, or you have just a thought or something that just leads you into another realm. It could be a picture that comes to mind. It could be a smell. It really can be anything. One way I've noticed this in my own life is I had a boss in my old job, and he was in the process of getting a divorce. And I had not talked to him in months. Basically, when I left the job, I didn't talk to anybody really from the job. And for some reason, I was like just chilling one day, and I got this message for him, and it was like, you need to tell him to be careful, because whatever he's doing, if his wife that he was in the process of divorcing finds out, it's going to ruin like his whole thing. Like it's going to really put a damper on what it is that he's working for. So I had talked to another old coworker, and my old coworker had told me that there was some fishy stuff going on. And I was like, oh shoot, I really should deliver this message to him. So I ended up messaging him, and I'm like, hey, I don't know what it is that you're doing, but you need to be careful, because if your wife finds out about it, she's going to be upset. And I was like, okay. He like freaked out on me. He was like, I don't know what you're talking about, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, whatever. Well, I ended up getting in contact with another one of my old coworkers quite recently. And basically he confirmed exactly what it was that I was saying to dude. And I was just like, okay, so I'm not fucking crazy. Like, there really was something going on, and he really did need to be careful. Come to find out, his wife did find out, and yeah, it was a whole issue. But, you know, I at least tried to warn him, so that's not on my consciousness. But at the same time, I just feel bad because I know that he was really working on a lot of things, and part of the reason why he, like, anyways, it just really sucked that it happened. So when it comes to random information or your random intuition, this is really about being able to combine the masculine and the feminine side of your brain. So the logic and the unlogical part. I think it's called hemisphere syncing, but it is a certain form of meditation. And this is where you'll hear like a lot of monks and people talk about, oh, they had like a vision and stuff, is because they're able to really combine these parts of their brain and be able to come up with some form of psychic ability, psychic vision, whatever the case may be. So it's really something that is known, but like not known at the same time. So, and then the third part, or the third type of intuition that you can come across, is focused intuition. So this is where people have really learned how to use their abilities, and this is the type of intuition that psychics that work with cops and stuff like that really are able to tap into, is being focused, being able to say, like, touching something and getting information from it, or going to a location and being able to get information based off of the location. And this is definitely something that everybody has the ability to do. It's just being able to truly hone into your gifts enough to be able to say, like, yeah, this is it, and truly trusting yourself. And we'll get more into trusting your abilities and stuff in a future edition, because I have quite a few scripts that we're going to go over. I've covered a couple chapters in the book. I just have been MIA lately, which I'm so sorry about being missing in action the way that I have been. This Mercury retrograde has been throwing me for a loop. And I've had a lot of different things come up just within like my personal life, and having to readjust just myself and my mental status so that I can be able to come and do things properly, and having to plan and move forward, which is just the whole thing, you know, life. So when it comes down to it, centering yourself is really important. When it comes down to being able to tap into your abilities, you really need to know how to center yourself. You really need to have a grounding on your own energy. And I have a few videos kind of talking about being able to do this. And I will make sure to link those below. But there are a couple different ways that I personally center my energy. And one of them is something that you'll hear like psychiatrists and therapists talk about. And it's basically running yourself through your 5 senses. 5 things that you smell, 3 things that you touch, 4 things that you hear, things like this. And being able to take in the environment, and then being able to come back to yourself. Because a lot of the times when there's chaos in the world and there's chaos in your mind, it makes it really difficult to be able to tap in to your abilities and to truly be able to trust yourself the way that is needed. So just be mindful as you move forward, and know that everything and everybody is going to develop their abilities. You can start doing this with friends, and then you may find that your friends are having different experiences than you are. Like I said in the beginning, everybody processes information in their own rate, and there may be certain things that your spiritual team or your guides are like, no, you're not ready for that. Like, just give it a minute. And we'll take you to that level. We just need you to be able to process information in this way, or to be able to process information in that way. So that's one way to be able to really ground yourself and bring your energy back in, especially when you're dealing with chaos. And it doesn't have to always be just because you're trying to tap into your abilities that you do this. It can be you just needing to clear the chaos that's around you, clear the energy that's around you because you're in a large crowd and it's too much, or you have anxiety. A lot of people who are empaths will find that they have a really hard time being out in public. And I know that's a thing that I have an issue with, is going out in public, because when I go out in public, I will straight up, like, it's a struggle for me. Like, I'm not even gonna sit here and lie to anybody. When I go out in public, it is a struggle because I start to feel other people's energies. And I'm gonna be honest, some people in this world, their energy's all over the place, and it's a little too much for me. Like, I cannot stand going to Walmart because there are so many people. I'm learning a little more how to be able to just kind of like cut things off. And that's a practice within itself. Being able to say, okay, I'm just going to breathe. I'm going to cut this off. I'm not going to feel anything. You can go about your life, go about your business, because I don't need to be a part of this. And that is a practice really within itself. And another form of centering that I do is basically teaching you how to work with energy. And teaching you how to basically bring energy in, and then being able to push this out, and being able to work with your aura, which is something that I've talked about in previous videos, about being able to work with your aura and shielding yourself when it comes to your aura. And this is basically like, you make a energy ball, and it's explained in my other video, but you make yourself an energy ball, and then you bring that energy in. After you've pushed it out, you bring it in, and then you push out your aura. And while you're pushing out your aura, it will help you to be able to shield. And then you can make it into whatever you want. You can do fun things with it. You can make it into bungee gum or whatever. My anime people will understand what bungee gum is. But you can do whatever it is that you feel is right, and just have fun with it and play with it. It's definitely worth getting to know and worth getting to do. Because you learn how to really focus your energy. And for those who understand what I was talking about when it comes to bungee gum, they'll also understand what I mean when I say, it's basically your aura. Well, if you can learn what your aura type is, because there are different aura types, and different ways that people are able to use their ability. I've heard people talk about like 4 different aura types, but I personally think that there's a little more than that, and there are people who are able to use their abilities in just like different ways, different manners. I personally have the ability to transmute, but I'm also a manipulator. I can manipulate the energy around me, and I can shut things down if I really want to. But I don't purposely go into anything doing things like that. And if you want to know what it is that I'm talking about when it comes to Nen, there's this anime called Hunter x Hunter. Definitely go watch it. It's worth a watch, especially if you're into the spiritual community and you want to learn about your aura and how to use it, because it teaches you the basics on how to use it. They call it Nen, which of course we call it something else, but it's basically learning how to use your chi or your life force energy to your advantage against an opponent, because it's a fighting thing. It's so dope, y'all. It is really one of my favorite animes, like, no joke. I think It's right there next to Fruits Basket, but Fruits Basket and this one don't actually compare. I'm just saying. And there's some really interesting arcs that go along with Hunter x Hunter. So it's definitely worth a watch. So getting back to your abilities, one thing you're going to hear a lot as you move through the spiritual community is about your third eye. And a lot of people are like, they want to start with their third eye. And I'm going to tell you right now, I do not suggest ever starting with your third eye. Because here's the thing, and a lot of people won't tell you this, but when you start with your third eye and you don't learn how to ground first, or you don't start with your crown, because you can start either way. You can start with at the top and work your way down. But you should have some experience in the spiritual world if you're going to start from the top. You don't start with the third eye, you start with your crown. However, I suggest going from the bottom up. That way, by the time you get to your third eye, you have learned how to balance yourself. There's another video that I'm going to link below. And it's one of the very first meditation videos that I did. And it basically helps you to be able to focus your energy throughout each one of your chakras. And I found that it really helped me to be able to even learn chakras, because I didn't know anything about chakras when I first found it. And then I was like, oh, this is really, really helpful. So like I said, I will link it below. It's only like a 10-minute meditation video, but it's really worth the watch as far as I'm concerned. It's honestly really worth the watch. So, but one way that you can connect to your third eye once you get there, because like I said, I want you to start at your base. This is your grounding. This is your foundation. And the reason why I don't suggest starting with your third eye is because it can literally cause issues. It can cause you to basically go into psychosis, and no one wants that. Like, that's why a lot of people will end up in the spiritual community, freak out, and then go to church because they're scared, because they did something that they not necessarily shouldn't have done. They just weren't taught how to do it in the right manner. And I don't want anybody, after watching one of my videos, to say, oh yeah, no, I watched Dottie, she told me to do this, and now I'm fucking crazy. No. That is not my fault, baby. Do not put that on the girl. Do not put that on the girl. That's why I say start at the bottom, work your way up. That way, by the time you get here, like I said, you're grounded, you're aligned, and you're able to really focus. But one of the ways that you can really start to focus on your third eye, go into a meditative state. And when you go into a meditative state, you basically want to look up here with your eyes closed. I know I just did, some of this, but with your eyes closed, you want to look here. And as you do this, you may see colors, you may see visions, you may see things start to come in. You may not even see anything when you first start doing it. And don't think, oh my goodness, I didn't see anything, so I'm doing it wrong and I'm broken. No. You're not broken. It's just a matter of it takes different times for people to learn how to connect with these things. As you open your third eye, you may notice that there's like a pressure in your forehead. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a sign that your third eye is really opening. You may find that it's even like vibrating. You may find that your third eye vibrates. You may find that things are just, like I said, you may find that it vibrates. You may find that there's images or visions that come through. For everybody, it's going to be different. So don't think that it's going to be like somebody else. I honestly can't tell you when my third eye opened, because I'm pretty sure that when it comes to my third eye, it's always been pretty open. There may have been times in my life where I just kind of like closed myself off, and I've done that a lot throughout my walk in life, because for a lot of people, they're just kind of getting hip to the spiritual thing. My life has been like this. Even when I was a Christian, I was taught not to put God in a box, so I've always been able to see things in just a different way than a lot of people, you know. And I can't tell you how many times I've been called the devil and some other stuff because I didn't peek something that nobody else did. And then they're like, "You're the devil. You're bad. Where? Your mom's the devil." So when it comes to learning how to open up your third eye and learning how to meditate in general, one thing that is really important to note about learning how to meditate in general is that you don't need to shut off your thoughts. That is only going to make your thoughts come back 10 times harder. What it is that you do is, number one, focus on your breathing, and number two, allow your thoughts to flow. I personally use a combination of this and what I call the Tinder method. And what the Tinder method is, you know how when you see somebody hot on Tinder, I think this is how you do it. I haven't been on Tinder in a really long time. Like, to be single and like open to a relationship, I'm not doing anything to find a relationship, because why? Anyways, when it comes to the Tinder method, you're going to basically swipe right on the things that it is that, okay, I can come back to this, and then swipe left on the things that don't even matter. Like, if you have visions of dancing bananas, why are we thinking about dancing bananas? Why are we thinking about what we did in the 3rd grade? When it comes to, did I take something out for dinner? I'll come back to that. What is it that I have to do tomorrow? I'll come back to that. And just as this happens, go back to focusing on your breath. As you do this and as you practice more, you will be able to have that center and just focus on breathing. This is a great way to start meditation, and it's something that you can do no matter what you're doing. There are so many different forms of meditation, and I think that people get so stuck on the part of it, when you can literally write, and that can be a form of meditation, being able to free your mind. You can literally sit here and color. That is a form of being able to free your mind, allowing you to tap into that creative part of yourself. You could dance. That's a part that could allow you to free your mind. There are working forms of meditation. So something I would do at work is I would just be mindful where my hands and my feet were at all times. And I know it's like, it's about awareness. And that really helped me to be able to start meditating the way that I could. And it really helped me to just bring awareness to myself. Another form of meditation is with your steps. When you take a step, just consciously be like right, left, right, left. This will also help you to bring awareness to yourself, because it's really what meditation is clearing your mind and just being aware and just learning how to be. And these practices will all teach you how to just be. Alrighty, guys, definitely let me know if you learned anything, and if you have any questions or comments, definitely drop them down below. Like I said, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, do all the things, and I will see you guys later. Bye. Edgar Casey, one of the two, which I plan on getting more into Edgar Casey.